Hello, welcome to Heather Broadbent's online violin studio. In this video I am going to be talking about different symbols that you'll see in music. This is good to know for your note reading skills to help you out with that. These symbols apply to all instruments and not just the violin. So don't think, oh, I don't play the violin, this isn't going to be good for me. No, this is excellent. This is good for all musicians, okay? So I have these wonderful little dice. They're little fuzzy dice, but they have musical symbols on them. And I just found these at a school store. And I play games with them. There's two of them. I have two, okay? So I play games with my students with these dice. We're going to use them today to talk about the different symbols. Okay, so here we have a time signature. And a time signature you'll find at the beginning of the music. And a time signature lets you know how many beats you have in a measure and what gets the beat. So your top number tells you that you get, that's how many beats you get in a measure. In this case we have a 4, so it's 4 beats in a measure. The bottom number tells you what note gets the beat. So in this case it's a 4, the quarter note gets a beat. A great way to know more about this number here, say you had an 8, if you just think about replacing that top number with the number 1, you get a fraction. And if it was an 8 down here, it would be an 8th. And that would say that your 8th note gets a beat. So that's a good way to kind of know, to help you understand this bottom number. Okay, so that's the time signature. You see a time signature 4/4, 3/4, 2/4, 5/8, 9/8, 7/8, all different time signatures. Okay, so this guy, this is a very common symbol. You see him quite a bit. This is a treble clef. It's called a treble clef or a G clef. And you see the symbol for the violin all the time. And on the piano you see it for the right hand. So it's the upper register that has this symbol. Okay, so here we have a flat. And a flat lowers a note by a half step. So if you're on the piano, it will go to the left. All the notes to the left are lower, 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 lower. So any other instrument, it's just a lower pitch. So a half step lower is what a flat tells you to do. Typically the first flat you learn is B flat. Okay, then we have this fun little symbol here, a half rest. Now the half rest is kind of, the reason why he's fun is because he can change to a whole rest. And I have a great saying for this. The half rest, you have a man walking down the street and he's got a hat on his head. And so it looks like a hat. When it looks like a hat, hat sounds like half. And a half rest gets 2 beats, just like a half note gets 2 beats. So we have our half rest. Now, if you flip it upside down and the man is walking down the street and he flips his hat, he sees a lady, so he tips his hat. And what do we have in that hat? We have a whole. So that's a whole rest. A whole rest in 4/4 gets 4 beats. And 3/4, it gets 3 beats. Okay, so here we have a fermata. And when you see a fermata, you hold the note out longer, the note that the fermata is on top of. You usually see the fermata on top of a note. When you're playing an orchestra and you see a fermata, you play the note until the conductor says, no more. So the conductor will cut you off. So that's fermata. Let's see what else we have on this guy. I think we might, oh, here we go. We have an 8th note. An 8th note gets half a beat. And an 8th note, you have 2 8th notes and a quarter note. So only half a beat for this guy. Okay, and here you can see him with a flag. If you have 2 of them together, they're joined with a beam. Okay, so that covers that dice. I'll get the other dice out here. We have some more symbols. Here, this is a quarter rest. And a quarter rest gets 1 beat, just like a quarter note. So this is a quarter rest. They're fun to make. If you need to write a quarter rest, just write a Z and then a C underneath. It's very easy, Z and C. It's kind of fun. So that's our quarter rest. This guy, he's different than the 8th note because he's got 2 flags. He's a 16th note. And you have 4 16th notes and a quarter note. You have 2 16th notes and an 8th note. Okay, so he's a 16th note and he has the 2 flags. If you see him beamed together with other 16th notes, that's just beamed 2 lines straight across like a Mississippi, the first rhythm that you learned with Suzuki, Mississippi, stop, stop. Okay, so then we have a sharp, and it looks like a tic-tac-toe sign or a pound sign. It's a sharp in music, and this raises the note to the right on the piano. It raises the note a half step, so a half step higher. You raise so the pitch goes higher, half step higher. The violin, the first note you learn that's sharp is the F sharp, and typically on the piano, the first note you learn that's a sharp is F sharp as well. So that's our sharp, and then this guy, you might see him fairly early when you start studying music. This is a repeat sign. So this lets you know to repeat. You want to find another sign that looks just like this, and you repeat to that sign, and you repeat what's in the middle of those guys, okay? And I do believe that covers this die and these two dice. So hopefully that was helpful for you, to help you with your musical symbols. And if you do by chance find these dice somewhere, they're a lot of fun to play with children and with your students. They're great to have in the house with your children, and they can just throw them around, and you can make games and just ask them, oh, what's that? What's this symbol? What's that symbol? What does it mean? So it's really kind of a fun way to introduce the musical symbols. So enjoy, have fun, and happy practicing.